All right, welcome to the fourth ever Wrasslin Roundup. My name is Andrew Diaz. I am joined by my co-host and producer Brett Castle via Zoom. We are not covering college wrestling tonight. We are moving up to the Olympic ranks to cover the Olympic trials that are happening. Is it this weekend?
This weekend.
This weekend. So we've got the brackets with us right now. So we're gonna go over, I think, who our favorites are. I mean, we talked about it on the show the other day, but now that we have the official brackets on who's actually wrestling, who's not, who maybe like opted out or didn't qualify, we're gonna now we're gonna make our legitimate predictions for who we think is gonna be in the finals and who will win in that best 2 out of 3 in the finals. So Brett, how are you?
Good. How are you? You probably see me squinting right now. I have the brackets minimized over you right now.
So we're starting at 57 kilos. Thomas Gilman, if I'm looking at the same one as you, he is the
Yep.
1 seed, and the 2 seed is Dayton Fix. Um, Vito's the 3, Gross the 4, Soriano the 5. So I'm liking that Soriano Gross matchup. I think that'll be a fun one. Um, Tomasello versus Zach Sanders should be entertaining, and I'm hoping for a NATO Fix one in the quarters. But if I had to look at it like just first glance, I'm taking Fix versus Suriano in the finals and Suriano winning in 3. That was my, I think, original prediction that I had Suriano winning, and I'm not going to shy away from that.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna go by round one right now. So we got Thomas Gilman with a bye being the first seed. First matchup of the tournament looks like Zane Richards versus Sean Russell. Sean Russell had an impressive last chance qualifier. I am a big fan of him. I'm a fan of his college career. I'm picking him over Zane Richards. Nick Soriano has a bye. Seth Gross got a bye. Vito. We have Cologne. Okay, so the only other match in that round is NATO and Zach Saunders, and it'd be really great to see NATO with a win.
Yeah.
He hasn't been very active in the last year, but we all love NATO.
I think that Suriano Gross matchup is going to be super entertaining.
Soriano Gross, from what I remember, it was maybe a 3-2 match at the Bill, and it came down to like a last second takedown from what I remember. Takedown or exposure with Gross coming out on top, but I don't believe that would be the same result. I believe Soriano will come out on top. Soriano has had a very impressive freestyle year,
Yeah.
coming close to that Kazakhstan guy at the Mateo Pelicon.
Mm-hmm.
So that means Aruja versus Cologne. I don't know.
Which one's going to lose the Dayton Fix, pretty much?
No, I can't even say that. Okay, so a couple years ago, Aruja was beating Fix around like 8-0-ish, and then Fix came back.
Fix has gotten a lot better, though, than a couple years ago.
Aruja did too.
Yeah, I mean, I like Fix in the finals here versus Soriano.
With these brackets, I kind of have a. I'm really excited for a Gilman Soriano match.
Yeah, that should be exciting. Gilman's older. I mean, he's not super old. He just feels old. But I like I said, I like Suriano winning it. Even I'm surprised he's the 5 seed. I'm surprised Gross is ahead of him.
Yeah, the seedings aren't great. I'm not really. Yeah, not great.
No, so who would your finals be right now, and who's your pick?
So I have Vito on the bottom side, and up on top, I gotta go Suriano. I think I might be. I'm definitely more of a Gilman fan.
Mhm.
You can kind of see a little more holes in Gilman. Like during that last Indy line card, he was going for the gut, and I don't remember who. It might have been Sean Russell or Zach Saunders. I think it was one of them two. They had the step over and pin Gilman. So I'm picking Soriano, Vito in the finals, and I think I'm picking Vito.
Vito over Suriano. How many matches? 2-0,
Oh,
1?
Ooh, I forgot it's 2 out of 3. That's a good point. I
I
might
picked Suriano over Fix 2-1.
2-1. I'm picking Vito over Soriano 2-1.
Gotcha. Now we're bumping up to 65 kilos. Zane Rutherford is the 1 seed. Nashawn Garrett is wrestling against Anthony Ashnault. That's an 8-9 match in the first round. Joey McKenna and James Green both have buys. They will wrestle each other in the second round. Jo versus Mitch. Jo has the winner of Mitch McKee versus Nick Lee. Nick Lee's hot right now. Frank Molinaro versus Evan Henderson. That's a 7-10 matchup. The winner of that wrestles Yanni Diakomahalis in the second round. I'll give my quick one. So I think putting Jo on the same side as Yanni is tough. And also, I think Nick Lee beats Mitch McKee. I think he gives Oliver a little bit of a battle because Nick Lee's still hot, coming off a national title win. That's pretty. I mean, he's got the ball rolling. I like Oliver over him though. I like Oliver over Yanni, and then I just don't like how Ashnault will have to wrestle Rutherford Zane in the second round. Otherwise, I'd take him. So I'm going to go Zane versus Jo, and I'm taking Jo over Zane in 3
Really?
matches. Yes.
In 2? Is that what you said?
No, 3. 2-1. I think he goes 2-0. I think he drops the first one to Zane, and then ends up winning the last 2. Figures it out and puts the pressure on him.
This is a really weird weight class with a lot of bump around guys.
Yeah.
So we got Nashawn in 2018 where he wrestled 61 kg. He made it to the finals. He was a world team member at 61 before getting injured.
Yep.
James Green was coming down from 70. Greg Molinaro was coming out of retirement. Evan Henderson has been doing.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah. Hendo has been looking great. You can never count him out. So I'm just going to start looking at the second where Rutherford would start. So it would be Rutherford versus Nashawn or Ashnault.
I think Ashnault wins that.
I think so too. I haven't seen Ashnault wrestle too much. His last match being when he got demolished by Yanni.
Ashnault's still mobbing. He stays mobbing. Anthony Ashnault.
He does stay mobbing. We're very pro Jersey podcast, I think.
Absolutely. We love New Jersey.
Mobbing. Also, more Jersey with McKenna and Green. That's going
to be another fun matchup, I think.
Yeah. I'm not too confident in either one. I'm going to pick McKenna, but Green's going to be tough.
That's one I'd honestly be happy. I don't care who's going to win. I just know it's going to be an entertaining matchup. That's a super tough one to pick right there.
I think Rutherford is a pretty good path to the finals.
Yeah. I would like Ashnault if they weren't wrestling second round. If they were wrestling in maybe the semis, I'd like him a little bit better depending on what his wins looked like. If he had, say, 2 convincing wins under his belt before he hit the semis, then maybe I'd like him. But having to wrestle, I still would pick Zane, but I would be a little more weary about him wrestling Ashnault in the semis versus the quarters.
The Olympic trials, unlike when we were watching NCAAs, we get really excited when we see a guy that we like place 8th. And something like this, it really only matters who kind of wins.
That's all that matters.
On that top side, I see Rutherford kind of smoking Garrett or Ashnault. Rutherford's had an amazing year. That only fallback being the Pan Ams. His match at Bajrang was really close. If it was a different guy on the bottom, I might. If it was not McKenna and somebody else, I might say something different. But I don't really see McKenna being much of a test for Rutherford.
All right, bottom side of the bracket. Who you got?
On the bottom side, that's a war. That's a battle.
It really is. It's going to be a pretty damn exciting couple matches down here.
Diakomahalis versus Hendo, probably. That means
Hendo's going to beat Molinaro.
I think so because activity. Hendo's been a lot more active than the last year. He's very funky. Molinaro is one of those guys, kind of like Pantelio, where he's just a big muscle. Yeah. Not being disrespectful, very technically sound, but
strong, but he's not a super athlete.
I wouldn't say Hendo is a super athlete. He's just much more of a scrambler.
Yeah, he's a well. I mean, when you think of an athlete, I think in wrestling, you think flexibility, and that goes with scrambling. So I think a better athlete in wrestling is a guy that can scramble a lot
Yeah,
better. Hendo is a better athlete than Molinaro.
correct. So Diaco versus Hendo with that bottom side. I think Diaco Hollis comes up.
His
I
arms are
think there's
so
going to
long.
be.
His arms are
Well,
so
they're
long.
both long. They're both pretty
Yeah,
long. Uh, I can see it being pretty close starting off in the first couple minutes, and Diaco Hollis getting his rhythm,
pulls away.
pulls away. Uh, right above that, we got McKee versus Lee. It's fun to say. That must have happened in college, I believe, probably. I have Nick Lee coming up on top. Actually, no, I have McKee winning that. Much more freestyle sound.
I just think Nick Lee's hot right now. It's tough to bet against the guy that just won a national championship.
Correct, but who's got the most recent win? That's McKee over last chance qualifier.
Yeah, I'm still riding with Lee here.
Yeah, if you remember our NCAA's prediction, you kind of smoked me for a couple. So this could just be happening
I got
again.
the two unorthodox ones. The
Yeah,
big
you
one
got
is the
Wenzel.
Ferrari one and the Shane Griffith one. And
Yeah,
well, I picked both, and even the at 49, I picked O'Connor over Sasso. That was a big one.
yeah, you're having a good
But I also
kind of rolling
I
right
had
now.
a couple of dumb ones where I picked like Stencil to go to the finals against Gable. I mean, like heavyweight was so clear cut that I should have probably just picked Paris Gable, but
It
you
was
know,
favoritism. We'll let it slide.
it was I wanted to see it was my emotions took over how I wanted to see someone else wrestling against Gable and maybe give him a little bit of a tougher time, but you know, shit happens.
Quick question before we continue. Would you rather finish third in NCAA's or second?
Second, I think just the higher
Yeah.
place looks good. I mean, especially because you can also say you were an NCAA finalist.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So I have Diaco Hollis going to the finals. His last match with Oliver. It started off close, but Diaco Hollis ended up getting the tech. I don't know why I keep calling Diaco Hollis Yanni.
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 All right, so Yanni
I
versus
got I got the how many I don't even know how many matches they've had between them at this point, between Rutherford and Yanni. There's probably gonna be lawyers involved again this time.
yeah.
I'm gonna pick Rutherford. Zane. Why am I calling Rutherford? Pick Zane. Zane versus Yanni. I have Zane being our Olympian.
Now we're moving up to 74, a very funky bracket. Jordan Burroughs is locked into the finals. So there's a tournament that pretty much the winner of the tournament before moves you into the tournament to wrestle against Jordan Burroughs in that best of three. So the first, Jason Nolf has a bye. He wrestles the winner of national champ David Carr and Logan Massa. I think Carr should probably be seated higher than Massa, in my opinion. Then you've got Thomas Gant versus Evan Wick. I like Evan Wick over Gant. I think Wick's a little bit longer. He's strong, decent athlete. And then you have Chenzo versus Chance Marsteller. I'm taking Chenzo the 7 over Marsteller the 2. Then you got Wick versus Chenzo. I'm taking Chenzo over Evan Wick to wrestle against Kyle Dake. I'm taking Kyle Dake's going to be throwing some Dake bombs around. I think Nolf beats David Carr. Nolf, and then I'm taking Dake over Nolf to wrestle against Burroughs, who wins. Burroughs wins 2-0.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Don't forget to mention Dake has a bye to the semis because he's a returning medalist at a non-Olympic weight class.
Yeah, so he is pretty much the winner out of Gant, Evan Wick, Chenzo Joseph, and Chance Marsteller.
Yeah, so it looks like the first match at 74 would be David Carr and Logan Massa. That's a tough one. There could be some experience that's a factor in there.
Yeah, Carr's a young guy.
I think I'm gonna pick Carr.
I pick Carr, yep.
We're talking about the Nick Lee factor of you're on a roll. David Carr, junior world champion. So David Carr versus Nolf in the second round, but before then we got Gant versus Wick. Wick is also so funky. He's so tall, so long.
Yeah, he's long and he's a
Really?
good athlete. He can scramble with the best of them at this weight.
Yeah, he's one of those guys where he had a very good U.S. Open, I believe.
Hmm.
U.S. National is one of those two.
He has a very forgettable college career too at Wisconsin.
He's not done.
I know, but I mean, you just think he's done. Like even if he comes back, I don't think his college career will really be much. Like, and I hate saying that because I like watching him wrestle. I think he's a good wrestler, and he's like you said, a funky wrestler. He's a fun wrestler, but it's just so far his college career has been so uneventful.
I don't want to say uneventful. It's just so hard when you have studs like Marinelli and Chenzo right in front.
This legitimately could have been his year.
It, potentially, he could have taken. He definitely would have All American, I believe.
Could have taken. I think third. He could have taken as high as third.
Yeah, that's fair. You could even say
He could have been the finals, depending on how he
could have
showed.
been the finals, hypothetically, if it was him and Wenzel in the semis.
I think he beats Wenzel.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I'm taking Wick over Gant, but no disrespect to Gant, very tough guy. We got Chenzo and Marsteller. Marsteller 5-0'd Chenzo last weekend. He's just
He's tiny. Like you don't realize that all
Chenzo,
these guys are the same weight because a lot of them look so much bigger. Like Dake to me looks huge. You wouldn't expect he'd be wrestling at 74 kilos. Oh, like the same as Marsteller or Chenzo, because Marsteller looks just so tiny.
it's weird. Both Carr and Nolf wrestled at 57, but I think of Carr being so much bigger. I don't know why. He just
Yeah.
looks, yeah.
And that goes to kind of the same for Wick because Wick is so tall.
Well, he was 165.
Oh yeah, he's a 65, but then for them to still be in the same weight class now,
No, it's insane.
it's weird. Wrestling's weird.
Yeah, Chenzo. Well, it sucks for Olympic years when there's only 6 weight classes. Like guys either have to come up or come down. Like there's not many guys that float around in that perfect weight class.
It's a good point.
So facing Dake on that bottom half, I think I got Marsteller. Probably Marsteller.
You got Marsteller Dake. I got Chenzo Dake.
Yeah, Chenzo Dake. I just can't forget that 5-0 match. I would love to see Chenzo win that.
Yeah.
But until I see
Marsteller's
otherwise,
tough as
I'm
nails. Marsteller's
counting
a
on
tough wrestler.
what was that?
Marsteller's a tough wrestler. He's just tough overall.
He is tough. I see him and Wick having a really tough match, but neutral being the factor. And I don't really see Wick easily taking down Marsteller.
Yeah.
So I got Dake teching Marsteller on the bottom. And no, it's just Dake to the final. It's Dake JB. That's the match. It's one of the matches we've been waiting for.
And how are you predicting the finals to go?
Well, we know that our wrestling coach Jason Flynn is picking Jordan Burroughs with a clean sweep.
That's how I picked JB.
2-0.
Yeah, I pick him clean sweep.
I'm picking Dake 2-1.
All right.
It could be stupid, a little bit of favoritism in there because I love watching Dake. I would love to see his crack at Sidikov when my.
Now we've got 86, which is gonna be an exciting one. David Taylor's the 1 seed. He is a bye to the quarters. He is the wrestler of Farr versus Sammy Brooks. Then Gabe Dean versus Miles Martin in the second round, which I think will be exciting. Pat Downey has the winner of Carter Starachi versus Bo Nickel, or No Bickle, as we like to call him, over at my parents' office. Zahid, the 2 seed, has the winner of Aaron Brooks versus Nate Jackson. So Penn State is heavily represented in this one. I like Sam Brooks over Farr in the first round. I like Taylor over him to the semis. Then I like Gabe Dean over Miles Martin. And I like David Taylor over Miles Martin to go to the finals. On the bottom side of the bracket, Pat Downey is the 3. I have Bo Nickel beating Carter Strachey. I have Bo Nickel beating Pat Downey. And then I have Nate Jackson. I have Aaron Brooks beating Nate Jackson. Aaron Brooks is hot right now. I have Zahid beating Brooks. I have a 1-2 matchup. I don't like going 1-2. I don't like that. But I think it's pretty clear cut. David Taylor versus Valencia. I have Valencia 2-1 over David Taylor in the finals.
there's a couple matches okay, so the first match here I'm really looking forward to in the second round is Dean versus Miles Martin.
Yes.
And it's interesting because Dean he kept it very tight between himself and David Taylor. But then David Taylor swept Miles Martin with a tech. But I see Dean and Martin being pretty competitive. Miles Martin being a very athletic guy, Gabe Dean fundamentally sound, extremely tough, a freaking brick wall, as some may say.
Mm-hmm.
I think I do have Gabe in that one. There's such a discrepancy in age in this bracket. Like we got Carter just finishing off the freshman campaign.
And you see that too, I think, in the next two with 97, especially. You see the age difference like crazy.
For sure. Yeah, we'll get to that. Carter versus Bo could be kind of fun. Like I don't really see it being too competitive.
I think Bo smokes him.
No, I think so too, but it's probably a practice match that happens almost weekly.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, so I think both guys have a pretty good path to the finals. Valencia Downey DNP'd at his recent tournament when Valencia pretty much teched everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what he would have, and Taylor would have Dean versus Martin, who he's beaten both. Valencia versus David Taylor, 2 out of 3. Very interesting. Big age gap right there. Valencia just seems to be getting better and better. David Taylor, you can say the same thing, gets better and better every year. The recent common opponent would be Jordan Burroughs. Valencia versus Jordan Burroughs. Valencia got those first 2 takedowns and then kind of gassed the old Arizona way. Taylor versus JB. He kept it so conservative. He was so scared. Like he really didn't shoot too much. His shot defense was phenomenal, but if he wrestles that way against the Heat, it's gonna bite him.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have experience be the factor here, and I'm picking David Taylor 2-0.
All right, moving to 97 kilos.
Is that what you had?
I had Valencia 2-1 over David Taylor. 97 kilos. I'm predicting an upset with the 1 seed. I think Braxton Amos, a guy that's not even hit the college ranks yet, I think he beats Colin Moore in the first round. He looked awesome last week. And I think he wrestles Kyvan Gadsden, who will beat Ty Walls. I don't want to get to that one just yet. I think, as much as this pains me to say, Machiavello is a brick shithouse. He is massive, and he's got the experience. I think he beats AJ Ferrari first round. I don't like saying that. We're the biggest Ferrari guys out there, but I have to go against him. Then I've got the 2 seed Zilmer. I think he's going to beat Ben Harris. Was it Ben Hannes? I can't read it. Yeah, Ben Hannes. I think Machiavello beats Hannes.
Ben Hannes?
What was that?
Nothing.
I think Jaden Cox beats Machiavello. Yes, Machiavello. I keep getting the names are tough.
Mike Mott.
And then I've got Braxton Amos beating Kyvan Gadsden. And I've got Jaden Cox over at Braxton Amos. Kyle Schneider beating.
Why call Schneider?
It's Schneider. I've got Jaden Cox losing to Kyle Snyder 2-1. 2 matches to 1. I think Snyder loses the first one, irons everything out, and ends up pulling off 2 big wins in the second matches. All right, so how are you approaching it?
Yeah, so first match we got Colin Moore versus Braxton Amos. Braxton Amos, we both saw went on a tear last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely not going to happen this tournament. Maybe crazier things could have happened. We're probably not going to see the Amos Ferrari, unfortunately.
Oh, I know.
Moore versus Amos. I'm disagreeing with you. I think Moore is just
He's got the experience. It's gonna be tough to beat him, but I think Amos is just so hot right now, man.
He is, and freshman Amos is arguably better than freshman Moore. So that's a tough one. Moore just so good in freestyle. I'm picking Moore over Braxton Amos. I too am picking Gatson over Ty Walls. Ty Walls is another brick house. Would you
This
call
whole bracket is literally who's the more athletic brick house is what it comes down to, legitimately.
Yeah, there's a lot of large mammals in this.
I mean, even Ferrari is a large man. Did you see him throw out the first pitch today?
I did. See him rip off the tee.
Ripped off his tank top. Oh, that was awesome. He's the best, man.
Was that softball?
I wish it was soft. No, it was baseball, I think.
Wish it was softball.
That would have been awesome.
Throw a 95 mile per hour at some poor girl.
It was a good pitch. I'm not gonna lie, it was a real good pitch.
Oh, you saw the video?
Yeah, there's video of it on his
Oh, I
Twitter.
didn't see the
I'll send
video.
it to you after. But yeah, I mean, it didn't bounce, got right over the plate, like right down the middle. I give him credit. I mean, I would have taken him yard, but
What a what?
I would have hit a home run off him, but you know.
Of course. I have Cox, pretty easy path to the finals. Sorry if I'm.
I think I'd love to see Braxton Amos wrestle Jaden Cox because I think it would be like literal assault. Like Jaden Cox would get arrested for assault if him and Amos wrestled.
I don't want to see a guy who I believe is going to have such a dominant college career get wrecked before it really starts.
That might not even be like the worst thing for him though, because I mean, if you get step on the mat with Jaden Cox, the expectations aren't too high. He can go
That's
out
true.
and try and hit different stuff. I mean, if he gets a takedown on Jaden Cox, that's more than most people that have been wrestling at this weight have done in their career.
Yeah, you know what they say. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? You lose. Oh, man. Wait until 2024.
I mean, Cox is, I think we both agree he's got an easy path to the finals and has a legitimate shot at being.
Okay, don't say easy. Like none of these are easy paths, but
he's got an easy path to the finals.
I think this has to be mentioned that Jaden Cox is a returning Olympic bronze medalist.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody on this side of the bracket at least poses that big of a challenge.
Cox over Snyder 2-0.
I don't like that, but okay.
I have a lot of 2-0s.
So heavyweight, we've got some familiar faces we saw wrestle a couple weeks ago.
I just want to keep it at 97 for a second. So Cox Snyder, I kind of see it starting off pretty slow. I think Snyder's going to kind of lose some confidence, losing to him the first time. I love Kyle Snyder. I'm a huge Snyder fan. Captain America. What?
Nothing.
But Jaden Cox is big, strong, athletic, technical. I think Snyder will lose some confidence heading into the second match, and that's going to be his downfall. Snyder or Cox 2-0.
I don't think confidence is a big thing with Snyder. I don't think it's big with wrestlers in general, but I don't think a guy like him, it's going to be that big of a factor.
I don't know. When was the last time you saw him lose and have to wrestle? I mean, his last one was Worlds when he lost in the semis and came back for the third, but that wasn't to the same guy.
Right. Who did he lose to there?
I don't remember. It was whoever Sadulayev beat in the finals.
It wasn't Chamizo, was it?
Say Chamizo?
Yeah.
Wrong weight class.
Chamizo, no, I thought Chamizo was 97.
No, 74.
Didn't they wrestle at one point against each other?
No.
Who am I thinking of? Who did he wrestle? Who did Chamizo wrestle from America?
James Green, Jordan Burroughs, Kyle Dake.
Oh, I'm thinking of Burroughs versus. I'm thinking of the other Captain America. All right. Heavyweight, we've got Nick Gwizdowski with a bye. He's got the winner of Garrett Ryan and Jordan Wood. I've got Jordan Wood over Garrett Ryan. Then we've got Tony Nelson and Dom Bradley in the quarters. I've got Dom Bradley over Tony Nelson. I think pretty handily. Gwiz, I think, will handle Dom Bradley and has a fairly clear path to the finals. Mason Paris versus Greg Kirkfleet. I like Mason Paris, and then Tanner Hall versus Gable, the 2 seed. I like Gable. I think we're going to get a Gable-Gwiz matchup. I like Gable 2-0 versus Nick Gwizdowski. I think this is a pretty in my opinion, pretty clear-cut bracket. Like I said, I don't like doing the ones versus twos. I like getting a little funky, but I have to throw a little logic behind it, and this one doesn't really feel like there's going to be too much competition.
Yeah, we don't like doing the 1 versus 2, but sometimes they're 1 and 2 for a reason.
It just makes sense.
Yeah. Like if it was Gable and Gwiz on the same side, that'd be a different story.
Yeah.
But some of these, just from a fan perspective, are very fun. We saw Paris major Kirk at Big Tens. It'd be kind of fun to see Kirk back in his own wheelhouse. Paris as well, junior world champion right there.
Yeah.
I see Paris winning that, but I don't think it would be as dominant as it was in folk style.
No, I don't think he like handles him. I think it's a close match, but I do like Paris out on top.
Yeah, I think it will help Kirk that there's no bottom.
Yeah, that'll be huge.
Yeah, Paris is not going to pick top in freestyle. I looked into it, scrolled through the rule book. Gable versus Tanner Hall. That will be a potential murder. We might have to call special forces in that match.
A quick tech.
Gwiz and Bradley could be fun, to be honest.
I think it'll be fun, but I think Gwiz beats him by at least 4.
If he wins by 4, dude, you are an oracle. Like,
yeah, all right. Gwiz by 4 over Don Bradley in the semis.
All right, I'm picking Gwiz as well.
Put money down on these, Jesus.
Next time. Hey, just to shout out.
That's when the luck will run out, though.
What?
I said that's when the luck's gonna run out when I start betting on them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I do have another Gwiz Gable final, and I have Gable over Gwiz 2-1.
2-1. All right, I like that.
Because it's not like he's never like. I think Gwiz over Stevenson, their matches are 2-1 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Gwiz's matches over Stevenson back at Final X, both being won by criteria, and Gable's match over him at the RTC Cup. Gable does have that recent win, but Gwiz is no slouch. He's 2-time world medalist, NCAA champ. He's not an idiot. I think either he'll get the first win or second, but I think you'll figure it out at one point. But Gable's just a tank, like we were saying about Nick Lee.
He's so quick.
Off that NCAA roll.
Gable's so quick though. He's so athletic at his size. It's unfair for anybody to move the way he does as a heavyweight.
I agree. That wraps.
What were you saying?
I said that wraps it up.
Yeah, so that'll wrap up the 4th Wrasslin Roundup for us. We will bring one to you guys after Olympic trials, so stay tuned for that. Also, we've got interviews coming up. We had a big, pretty awesome guest on the other day, Wyoming wrestler and All-American at 197, Stephen Buchanan. He was a fun interview. We had a little time matchup or mismatch, I should say. He didn't realize that the difference between East Coast and Mountain Time.
Oh.
So
I didn't think about that.
I was sitting in the Zoom meeting waiting, like I DM'd him at with the time we were supposed to tape at, and he's like, "Oh shoot, like let me get back to my dorm. Like I'll be right there." So yeah, it worked out good. But stay tuned for that next week, and then just more episodes we bring to you guys. Thank you.